All right. Zamperinis is the name we use for just a series of abdominal crunch exercises. I'm going to show you 4 since we're starting out with 4 minutes of Zamperinis. But there's a whole number of exercises that you can do. Normally when we're doing these as a team, we just go around in a circle, and whoever comes up in the circle will decide what the next exercise is. It's really important to hit muscles in the oblique area because we have that twisting motion when we run, some more than others, but that is directly related to knee lift and therefore force production. So we want to make sure that we have some oblique exercises, upper abs as well as lower abs in those. Typically speaking, you're going to want to do the smaller muscle groups first, so lower abs and obliques, followed by the upper abs, which are your strongest abdominal exercises. And we also want to include a little bit of low back work, which typically we do through either Supermans or skydivers, which I'll show you. So normally what we do, if it calls for 4 minutes of Zamperinis, you pick 4 exercises and you do each one for a minute at a time. After a minute, you just switch. The focus on this is on form and technique. Okay, so the reason we do them by time is the number at which you do does not matter as much as the quality of how you're doing the exercise. So really focus on doing them correct, doing them deliberately, and trying to work the muscles in which we're trying to strengthen. Okay, why do we want to have strong core muscles as runners? Because it helps with form. Okay, we want our form to be up tall, our torso to be up tall and strong at the beginning of the race and at the end of the race. At the end of the race, many runners, their abdominals start getting fatigued and their form breaks down. When the form breaks down, we start putting our feet in different places, we start wasting energy, and we're already tired and slowing down. If our form falls apart, now we're slowing down even more. If we can maintain form, we're going to maintain speed. Okay, so that's why we want strong core. So that's why we're regularly working our abdominal muscles throughout the season, and why we want to start now. If your form is breaking down during training, it can lead to injury problems. If your torso starts slumping, now you might start heel striking, and even if your hips are doing their job, that heel striking can cause shin splints, or any number of other other injuries. And so another really good reason to have strong abs, and why we're doing them during the summer as we build up our training miles, and not just at the end of the season when we're trying to race fast or anything like that. Okay, so here are some examples. You can do additionals on your own. You can find videos online in addition to this one. So this is an oblique exercise, crossover crunches. I'm going to start coming across. I'm using these obliques, coming across. Again, just nice, deliberate movements, focusing on bringing my shoulder across, not really trying to touch my knee. That's not the goal. What I'm trying to do is contract the abs using these muscles on this side to pull the opposite shoulder across. And then I would switch on an exercise like this, where I'm using half my body. Generally do 30 seconds on each side as part of a 4-minute routine. Remember to breathe. Okay, so those are obliques. The next exercise I'm going to do are called hip thrusts. I'm working my lower abs. I'm going to put my legs up in the air, and I'm going to raise up off the ground just what my shorts cover. Okay, so this is going to come up. My low back, which is here, is going to stay stationary on the ground. It's a very small movement. I'm not doing this This is not hip thrust. It's a very small movement. Some of the athletes on the team like to call them butt-ups. I call them hip thrusts. Okay, trust me, when you get this one right, you'll know it because it hits those lower abs very, very directly. Probably the most effective lower ab exercise I know. An upper ab exercise would be something like your typical 90-degree crunches. Focusing on aiming at the sky, not at your knees. 90-degree bend at the hips, 90-degree bend at the knees. And I'm aiming at the sky, focusing on bringing my shoulder blades up off the ground. Okay, and then a fourth exercise would be, remember, trying to work the low back. And these are skydivers. Bring my chest and my thighs up off the ground simultaneously. And each of these exercises would be done for 1 minute at a time. And that's Zamperinis. Zamperinis are named for Louis Zamperini, who was featured in the book, I think it's called Unforgiven. He was coming out of high school, one of the best milers in the world. Unfortunately, World War II started, and he was drafted into the war. And if you haven't read his book or heard his story, there's also a movie about it. He ended up being a prisoner of war, and because of his status as a world-renowned runner, was treated very, very badly by the Japanese in the POW camp. So that's Louis Zamperini.